Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will try to speak about Russia at least. It's a big part of my job. I would like to first to thank Professor Falico to organize such a forum. I know that everybody did already, but I want to do myself. He's a good friend of mine in Moscow, as I'm based in Moscow, and I think that it's very important in this time of crisis of confidence, I would say, between Russia and the EU, that the business and person like him maintain the cooperation, the ties with our Russian friends. We know, all of us businessmen, that it's on this basis that in the future the relation will be restored, and it's very important. So really, thank you, Antonio. It's very good job. So I'm very happy to speak about the subject of renewable energy, because I can speak as president of Alstom. As you remember, Alstom is a major player in this field. I can speak as chairman of the Association of European Business, as we have other many European major players in Russia, and also as a French citizen, as my country is the host of the COP21, so this large meeting which will take place in few weeks, in fact in 1 month, so in Paris, about the climate change, and it's a major subject as the chairman of the chairman of the board of Banca Intesa, San Paolo, remind today. What is the situation in Russia? The situation in Russia, I must say, is really constrained. It depends if you take the renewable energy globally, it's important and not important in the energy mix. Important if you take the large dams. So if you take the large dams that were built during the Soviet Union, hydroelectricity represents 30% of the energy mix of the country. So that means it's a lot. But if you take the other energies, it is the other renewable energies. It is 0.02% of the mix. So of course, it's not even if recently, in March, Renova, who is a company of Mr. Vekselberg, a subsidiary of Renova, opened a large plant for sun electricity on the basis of sun. But despite of that, the mix is really low. In the same time, my predecessor here reminds the government, Mr. Medvedev, so pledged for a lot of efforts in this sector, and that in the frame of the COP21, so Russia took the engagement to reduce of 25 to 30% the emission of carbons, which is quite important, on the base of the 90s. The base of that for everybody is on the 90s. So it's quite important engagement. On another hand, the EU, as I remind, offer an important, is an important player and a partner, could be an important partner for Russia in this field. We have important producers of equipment, of course, Alstom. To agree, we are in all the sectors, Alstom of this renewable energy, but also Siemens, but also ABB. We have also major producers of electricity, European, who are present also in Russia. Of course, so yourself, Enel, indeed, but also E.ON, but also Fortum, your colleagues in Russia. And I don't want to forget also Fenice, who is a subsidiary of EDF, which is an Italian company, and which is also in the term of energy and energy efficiency very present in Russia and in the factories, most in the factory and so on. So what is the situation? The situation is that, as said one our former, but a long time ago, Clemenceau for a country, but I can say that I think that renewable energy could offer good perspective, in Russia, but it will stay like that for a long time. Why? But first, I would say it is a question of there is overcapacity of plants producing energy in Russia. They were built during Soviet Union. They are now maybe old and so on. But as the consumption decreased from this period, there is still many unemployed capacity. We can say what to add is that Rosatom is building 10 blocks of so in Russia at the present moment. So you see that there is really overcapacity. There is also the question of the, I would say, the localization, the geographic map. I mean, where it is possible to implant such a plant, it's far of the consumption places. That is important. The population and the places where you can have such opportunity are far. And Russia is a very big country. You can say that in Moscow you are nearer to New York than to Vladivostok. And have that in mind is very big. The other question is the question of price and the tariff. The tariff of electricity in Russia is low, is very low, by the way, and it's a real problem. In fact, Enel, you will emphasize the question, I think, much better than me, but it's low and it's really, of course there is a special tariff for the renewable energy, but it is very complicated to get it. And for time being, it is so complicated that it is a break to the development for the development of this energy. There is also the question of the local content. Local content, I think Mr. Montourov spoke, local content, it's important. Of course, it's important. There is two things which push us to localize our production. That's what we are doing. By the way, Alstom also in Russia, it is, I would say first, it's not the policy of the government. I would say the second point is the policy of the government, of the Ministry of Industry. But the first, it is the level of the ruble. With the devaluation of the ruble, in 6 months last year, in Russia, we came from an expensive country to a low-cost country in 6 months. For an industrial, it's very fast. You cannot imagine. It is very fast. So that local content. But the local content, everybody is ready to localize this production when there is orders. If there is nothing to, there is no orders, if there is no contracts, there is nothing to localize. So it must start by. And I would say, as we are invited by Bank Intesa San Paolo, in my opinion, the most important of the point is the last one, is the question of financing. Still, this question is not solved. The question of the development of this source of energy will stay. What is the question? But as we know, we spoke during two days, there is financial sanctions against Russia. So traditionally, the Russian bank never provide loan financing. The loan financing were provided in Russia by the foreign banks, as Bank Intesa San Paolo, not only this one, but also this one, and by the other institutions, EBRD, IEB, I mean, so the European Bank of Investment, and so on. Till there is such sanctions, till EBRD and IEB cannot give loans to Russia for this type of project. This type of project will not. It's impossible for this type of project to develop in Russia because they need a long and even very long money, very long financing, and only this type of banks can provide it. It is what I think that I have finished. I see 4 seconds. Thank you.